Hi everybody, and thank you for picking Kale-E. Today's video is going to be on what to do with your turmeric during the winter season. Okay, so first to give a little history behind my turmeric plant. So we had one cold week where it completely died off. So here's all the leaves. It was huge. It was about this big, and then it started dying off. But then we got a hot week right after that, and during that hot week we got the Santa Ana winds that were blowing like crazy. So I took a bag and a hair tie and put all of my leaves together with a bag over it so that it wouldn't dry the whole plant out. It helped a lot, but it still got pretty ratty where a lot of it had died off. So I was just gonna let it die off and then show you guys a video where I can dig up everything. However, it has been hot now since all the fires have died down. It's now in the 80s during the day and everything has come back to life. I will show you in a close-up video of all the new rhizome shoots that have started up, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then all of my larger ones have already started to grow new leaves, so I can't really dig it up at this point because it's just going to keep getting hotter here in Southern California, so I'm going to let it grow big again. However, I'm going to tell you what to do when you actually have winters and there's snow on the ground. Okay, so if you actually have a winter climate where snow has fallen and you have frost on the ground and it's going to be saturated with water, you're going to have to dig up your turmeric. So what that will entail your stalks will have died back, and if they haven't died fully back, you're going to want to dig them up, and from there you're going to want, if they haven't died back, cut the top part of the stem. So you're going to cut those away, and if it's all died back, you won't have that issue. So after that, you're going to pull them up. Now they're going to be large balls, or if you have individual shoots, they'll be individual little finger rhizomes, but usually it'll be a big ball. So you'll have the mother and then a lot of finger rhizomes, and then you're going to have a crown. So the crown will be pointy with a lot of roots coming off of it. Roots are not fingers. They do not look like rhizomes. They look like actual roots coming off of the pointed crown. So when you have that big ball, it just looks like a big mess, you're going to want to break it apart. So you'll have the fingers and the rhizomes that you can put into one pile with the mothers, and then you're going to have the crowns. So you want to keep that, it's kind of like a point in a rhizome with all of the roots coming off it, and that's going to be the plant for next season. So any of those crowns that you can see from, I wish I had an example, but I don't have one. Once you dig them up from the cluster, keep those crowns in a separate pile. And I'll try to put a picture up somewhere what it looks like, or maybe I'll draw something. But yeah, those will be your plants for the next season. And then you'll have your rhizomes, fingers, and the mothers in a separate bin. Now you're going to want to wash all of those off. So you're going to put them in a strainer, or you can just lay them out on the ground and spray them with a hose, or put them in a bucket of water and swish it around and then strain it. Whatever you want to do, but you're just going to clean them off. So after you clean them off, your crowns you don't have to typically clean off. You can leave them in their own little section over here, but you're going to want to store them pretty much all the same. So for storage, after you have dug them up, cleaned them off, and they're sitting there nice and moist because you just sprayed them with water, you're going to take a shoe box or an Amazon Prime box, because we all know everybody uses Amazon Prime, and something in here, and you're going to take rounds. So either cut up cardboard or this is my big huge bag of browns, so I have a bunch of dried up leaves in here, or Jake has a ton of sawdust everywhere, so I would take it and fill it up. So for the sake of examples of showing, I would just fill up this whole box of browns, take my rhizomes or fingers, place them in there, cover it up, and then store it in a dark dry place within your house. Now, after you store them, of course you can go back and use it for cooking, use it for anything that you want. You can dry them out and use it as a powder. And if you aren't planning on putting them back out for next season, because if you don't use it for everything, you can replant them as well. The crowns will create a plant quicker than just having a rhizome, because the rhizomes you have to sprout. It'll take a lot longer, about a month or two. When you have the crowns, the plant will come pretty quickly with the crown. So if you don't want to store them like this, you can freeze them as well and use it in your cooking. And so a lot of people put them in a big bag and freeze them in their freezer. That's totally cool as well. But I suggest storing them, because if you don't go through all of it, why not just sprout it and plant it back out there? So that's my suggestion if you want it. But yeah, keep it in a nice box where it's going to be dry. They'll have a lot of browns to stick in there. And then right after your last frost, so for us it'll probably be February, but it's pretty hot right now. We're in the 80s, so I don't know if we'll have a frost. But for you, whenever your last frost will be, you can start planting them in the ground again, or keep them in a warm place inside and they can start sprouting like on top of your fridge, or using my first video of how to sprout them in the Tupperware with water. Start that after your first frost and put them in the ground when they start sprouting. So I hope I answered any of the questions you need. I'm really, really sorry that I wasn't able to give an actual example with my plants. I hope my little hand tutorials were enough, but if they weren't, please ask questions down below. I will do my best to answer them as quickly as possible. And thank you for picking Kale-E. I'm sorry I didn't have a better example. But like and subscribe below, and happy growing season. I hope you guys have some wonderful turmeric to make tea out of and cook with, and maybe make some powder too. But have a wonderful winter and storing of turmeric. Thank you for picking Kale-E.